Imagine delivering the best work of your career. Your ideas are sharp, your execution is flawless, and you know you are adding massive value to the team. But instead of a promotion, you find yourself marginalized, sabotaged, and eventually crushed by the very manager you were trying to impress. We are taught from childhood that the professional world is a pure meritocracy. The standard advice says that if you simply put your head down, outwork everyone else, and let your raw talent shine, you will inevitably ascend the ladder. But stepping into a modern office is much closer to entering a scheming aristocratic court. The titles and the clothing have changed to appear civilized and democratic, but underneath the surface, the dark human dynamics of greed and envy remain exactly the same. The people occupying the levels directly above you are rarely as confident as they appear. They possess incredibly fragile egos and a desperate need to feel secure in their exalted positions. Which brings us to the first law of power: never outshine the master. If you try too hard to please your superiors by aggressively displaying your gifts, you accomplish the exact opposite of your goal. You inspire profound paranoia. Your exceptional talent is not a guaranteed ticket to the top. Without the emotional intelligence to read the hierarchy, your brilliance is a massive liability that will quickly get you replaced. Powerful people will rarely admit that they feel threatened by a subordinate. Instead, they will always find a convenient moral excuse to eliminate an underling who makes them feel intellectually or socially inferior. Take the tragic case of Nicolas Fouquet, the finance minister for the French king Louis XIV. Fouquet decided to throw an exceptionally lavish party at his sprawling chateau to honor the king, genuinely believing his magnificent taste and powerful connections would cement his status as an indispensable favorite. The king did not feel honored at all. Confronted with a subordinate whose display of wealth rivaled his very own, Louis XIV felt deeply eclipsed and wildly insecure. The fallout was swift. Fouquet was imprisoned and replaced by a blander, less threatening minister. To soothe his bruised ego and ensure he would never be outshone again, the king then moved to consolidate all opulence for himself, eventually building the staggeringly wealthy palace of Versailles. You do not even need to be intentionally arrogant to trigger this reaction. The young prince Astorre Manfredi surrendered his city to the conqueror Cesare Borgia and was entirely accommodating. Yet Borgia eventually had him executed, simply because Manfredi's natural grace and charisma made Borgia look less attractive by comparison. Whether you are intentionally showing off or simply being your naturally brilliant self, the outcome remains the same. Triggering the master's insecurity leads directly to your destruction. Even if your manager genuinely likes you, you must never let their favor go to your head. Taking your position for granted is a fatal error. Consider Sen no Rikyu, the premier artist of the Japanese tea ceremony and a highly trusted advisor to the Emperor Hideyoshi. Rikyu enjoyed immense royal favor and influence for years, but then he completely forgot his own limits. He had a wooden statue of himself carved, wearing the sandals of nobility, and placed it inside a royal temple. This single physical act crossed the line from subordinate to equal. It was viewed as an unforgivable, arrogant presumption that instantly nullified his years of loyal service, and it ultimately cost Rikyu his very life. The actionable strategy for survival is mastering the art of discreet flattery. If you are naturally smarter than your boss, act naive and commit harmless mistakes so they can impart their expertise. If your ideas are more creative, publicly ascribe them to your boss, making it clear your brilliance is just an echo of their advice. We see a masterclass in this application from the astronomer Galileo. He constantly found himself in a precarious position, relying on the generosity of rulers who often felt insecure about merely supplying the funds for his scientific genius. This historical Latin text shows Galileo's astronomical diagrams tracking the stars around his central planet. It documents his groundbreaking discovery of Jupiter's moons. Instead of claiming the glory for himself, Galileo aligned his discoveries directly with his patrons, the Medicis. He claimed the 4 newly discovered moons represented the 4 Medici brothers, explicitly linking their family name to the mighty cosmic greatness of the heavens. By fading into the sky and making his masters the radiating sun around which everyone revolves, Galileo bypassed their insecurities completely. he transitioned from begging for patronage to being appointed the official salaried court philosopher, securing ultimate financial and political safety. There is one critical reversal to this law that you must measure carefully. You have to know how to identify a falling star. If your superior is a weak leader whose power is visibly and rapidly fading, you do not need to show mercy. In those specific moments, you can discreetly hasten their downfall by outsmarting and outcharming them at key moments, letting nature take its inevitable course. But if they are firmly entrenched in their position, yet you know yourself to be the more capable individual, you must bide your time, practice extreme patience, and allow their power to eventually fade on its own. Disguising your strengths in this way is never a true weakness. It demands the ultimate internal discipline, forcing you to suppress your own vanity and your desire for immediate recognition in exchange for long-term power and survival. If you are accustomed to surface-level history and want to strip away the comforting myths of success to reveal the raw mechanics of human nature, subscribe to the Bookish Breakdown. We specialize in transforming historical observation into elite, practical strategy. Suppressing your ego secures your survival against the master above you. But once you have successfully managed them, a much more insidious threat emerges. Next time, we unravel the treacherous dynamic of silent betrayals and the hidden envy of your closest allies.